Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. A monumental episode this fortnight. The boys been away for a little bit, to be honest, but episode 50. The boys raised the bat to the crowd, we do, as we hit 50. Who would have thought we would have got here after the trials and tribulations that we've gone through? A couple other things that hit 50 this year. Email, 2-pack, floppy disk, and the first chat room. Boys, all 50 years old. Us, not 50 years old, only 50 episodes. But, you know, Stoney, very similar to the floppy disk. Craig, very similar to 2-pack. DL, very similar to email. He's just always shooting off directives. And old Snags over here, just fucking chatting away in the chat room, boys. So welcome to episode 50. Absolute doozy. But before I get too carried away about floppy disks, DL, what's good, baby?
Snags, I'm good. Mate, we are back in the studio after having a couple of weeks off from the potty. Our live show at Eternal 59 was an absolutely doozy affair. But good to get back in familiar surroundings. It's good to see Stoney across the table from me. Boys, when Jenkins JBH got booked for E60, me and Snags had our bags absolutely shoved in and packed and booked flights as well, which was the crazy part. So, and then bloody COVID happened in Victoria. So Jetstar didn't give us our money back, Jetstar. They gave us travel credits, but that's okay. Me and Snags will get back on there. Maybe maybe a little bit down the track, we can get all four boys together somewhere in the country. That'd be pretty fun.
GC, baby, calling us.
Mate, we'll see. Mate, as usual, we look at the positives of the Runner Back podcasts. The boys being back together is a bloody positive. Celebrating 50 episodes. What a huge milestone for the boys. But before we jump down memory lane, I better introduce the man that joined us way back in episode 7. What a journey. Stoney, what's good? Do you have any favourite moments?
Mate, got plenty. Just being here is a favourite moment, DL. I didn't think we would last 50, let alone me and the stat man. Just getting an invite back the next week was a win in itself. But as you said, mate, a couple of weeks off out of the studio. It hasn't felt like we've had a break, to be honest. So much happening in the chat, so much happening behind the scenes. Full steam ahead, as you said. COVID throws a little spanner in the works, but the show must go on.
Oh, boys, it feels like it was crazy episode 7 you guys jumped in, but I still remember the conversations DL and I were having over WhatsApp of like, do the boys deserve the call-up after the first ep that you're on? And, well, boys, I'm glad we decided yes, because it's been an absolutely delicious ride. And even more delicious is the stats that's come out of this man's mouth. Stat man, talk to me.
I like you said, like looking back at the hotel room in Melbourne and seeing where we are now, it's very, very exciting to think that the last time we were doing a podcast was me and DL interviewing a fighter who was training and fighting for a title. Very, very exciting. Stoney, you and I, we've interviewed a UFC star. DL and Snags have interviewed UFC fighters. Kind of crazy, kind of very, very exciting. And then looking forward to 51 through 100 episodes to see where that takes us.
That was very touching.
Stefan sounded like he was getting emotional.
No. Let's just move on with the episode, please.
Let's get the ball rolling, boys.
Come on.
First, we need to thank our sponsors, Humble Fightwear. Humble Fightwear is an Australian jiu-jitsu brand that celebrates one of the most important parts of martial arts, becoming humble. Snags.
Well, over 50 episodes, I have been the most humble man to ever grace the land of podcasts. But look, a bit like myself, love the passion behind this brand, and I just love that they support the boys, to be honest. And I also look forward to wearing my humble rashi in the upcoming Snags vs Stoney match, which special announcement there. And I look forward to ripping your head off as well. But Stoney, talk to me. Where can we find these delicious rashis that you will get submitted in?
Going off script, I don't think Humble appreciate that, Sugar Snags. Head to their Instagram page and give them a follow, or go to www.humblefightwear.com.au and help them spread the good vibes, one purchase at a time.
And for being amazing Runner Back listeners, the legends at Humble Fightwear are giving you 15% off your entire order. Snags, how do they do that?
That's right, baby. Code word RIB15. That's RIB15 at checkout. Tell them the boys sent you. Even better, tell them Snags sent you, baby, because that's where it's at. Deal.
Lovely
Just
boy.
have to say it. Sorry.
Boys, I think it's a perfect time to jump into the podcast and to kick it off. Like I said to the stat man just before, let's wander down memory lane. So I've pieced together 5 of the top 5 RIB moments from episode 1 to episode 50. Now, boys, some of them are a little bit hard to find. So some could say that they're just the 5 obvious ones. But
They're in the shadows. They're on the floppy disks.
But they're all a good laugh. So we're going to count down from 5 to 1. This is number 5.
5.
Hi, I'm doing well. I am a little bit dodgy under this streetlight, but I'm catching a few looks from the people in the houses across the road, but that's okay. And I'm a fucking bird just right next to me. That's good shit. That's good quality. Well, I'm doing well.
Is that good luck? It's supposed to be good luck.
It's like a kookaburra. It's like literally like half a foot from me, and it's just staring me down. I might walk away from the light a little bit, so that's okay.
I'm a bit concerned that you said that you're staring into other people's houses.
If I want to catch the light, I've kind of got to stare directly poor old couple's house across the road.
Let's not get arrested on the podcast.
No, right. It's so hard with the BMS belt on the line to not get hurt, but I'll try my best.
The peeping Tom.
So that was the peeping Statman. So second show. That was Statman's second show after the live show.
Aside from getting to interview Paddy Pimblett and aside from getting to do a live podcast with you boys in Melbourne, I do have to say that the relationship I've grown with that couple that I was staring in there is probably the most rewarding part. I'm actually on their Christmas card list, so that was lovely.
I thought you were going to say the kookaburra.
Me and the cooker, we're old mates now.
Also on that show, remember Statman left the podcast 10 minutes before we finished?
Yeah.
Which
Boys,
was
I gotta go.
unprofessional.
I was at a mate's birthday party and I left to do the podcast.
Oh, his commitment's really grown from
You
there.
wanted to get the call back for episode 3, mate.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Boys, that was episode 8, that one. So moving a little, maybe a few weeks beyond that one, we went to episode 11. And I think this one might be directed at you, Sugar Snacks.
4.
But a few fans have asked for some advice on who to tip, and a few had some constructive criticism. Some of that criticism,
Do you need a
SG.
dictionary?
Some of that criticism, SG, was directly squared at you, and I have to say it's valid. By the time the actual card come around, you lodged some lofty predictions and then apparently bet against those own predictions, completely undermining the integrity of the Run the Back podcast. Now over to you, SG. Surely that's not the case. Tell us that's not the case.
Sure, that's not true, is it?
That's not true, Sean. Come on.
It's called a cover bet.
Oh, my God.
And,
We're down to the 76 volt.
Fucking hell.
I actually forgot who I tipped.
As I said, this is just an allegation. Rather than judge or jump the
It's
gun,
not
I
an
want
allegation because it's true. I forgot who I tipped. That doesn't sound like me at all, boys.
Oh, it doesn't sound like you
not at
whatsoever. So you haven't improved much from 30
not at all.
odd episodes after that one.
Apologies in advance for the next 50.
Okay, we're jumping to episode 33 with this one. Another one that features Snags.
Oh, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome Mr. Finland to the picks because Snags has taken him. You know what? And I'm going to take round 2 submission, boys. Anaconda choke for Snags. Okay, yeah, shake your head, stat man. But when it comes to fruition, which I've said that word 3 times on this podcast,
Said it wrong
tonight,
3 times too. It's fruition.
No, I've said it wrong once. Fruition.
It's
That's the right
fruition.
word. Oh, fuck. I have to.
He still doesn't realise.
Yeah, I'll tell you what we should make a segment of. Snags' dictionary. I've got a couple of written.
We did
What's
it.
it called again?
Fruition. Yeah.
Fruition. Doesn't even sound like a real word, to be honest. Snags is going to take Mr. Finland to come up with some fruition of an anaconda joke in round 2. Get it, son? I've said fruition 3 times. That's 4.
You should have corrected him about
No,
3 segments ago.
I didn't think that he'd keep saying it.
This is like the time I said several.
Yeah, he's said it several times now.
How am I paid this much money to do a job that I do? Seriously, I can't even know the English language. I thought that's what it was. Oh, do you know when I was younger, I used to say Pacific instead of specific?
That doesn't surprise me. Oh my God, it's still funny.
That was all the sagas of my words in one segment there. Look, I actually like the idea of Snags of dick sharing. I think I'm going to bring that into the next book. I've got a couple.
Yeah, the several moment in there was good, but we had to explain to you what several meant.
I honestly, for a while, I thought it meant
was
seven.
She just thought that the word several was 7.
Yeah, could have been. Who knows?
One of the funny ones, DL, but every good segment needs a good dance partner, and Statman was tremendous.
He
in
was
that.
well done.
Oh,
Yeah,
you were
good
gold.
work. Good
Sound
work.
like you needed a bloody puffer. You're
I was dying because, like, I had to say something the third time you said it because I was like, he's not going to keep saying this word that he's never used before, clearly.
Because didn't we have
I've just used
a
it wrong.
guest on? Didn't we have a guest on that show? And he said it during the interview as well.
No, probably wouldn't surprise me.
Oh my God, that's too funny. Let's go international with number 2.
What was your first training session like?
It was sound. First, went in and done a kids class, and then I stayed and done the adult classes. It was funny though, to be fair, because there was a woman in there, a young woman from Brazil, who was over for uni, and it was my first ever striking session. Know what I mean? And she battered me.
Yeah.
Like hitting me with spinning back kicks as hard as she could. Know what I mean? Proper whacking me. Never forget it. At one point, there was 3 coaches stood behind the desk, and she's proper spinning back fisted me right in the face in front of them, and they all went, ooh.
It's a blow to the confidence of a 15-year-old boy.
Yeah, don't worry though. A few weeks later, when I knew what I was doing, I fucking punched her head in.
And that was in a class. We don't condone violence. So that was in Paddy. That was Paddy Pimblett. Yet to get his UFC debut, but he is signed to the UFC now. So looking forward to that. Yeah. JVH actually called. Didn't he call out Paddy Pimblett on our show? On the live
that was
show?
Jenkins, wasn't it?
Nah, I think it was JVH.
Nah,
wasn't
it's got to be Jack. It
Was it
Jack.
Jenkins?
I'm pretty sure it was Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
It was
It was
Jenkins.
Jack.
Yeah. Well, brings us to the number 1, and that's why I bring up the boys, because slipping into that number 1 spot is our lads.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my young friend Jack Jenkins and I had a little bit of a tussle. But Jack's a professional, you know. It was never going to be a situation where it was like anyone had to worry. I think Cam jumped up a little bit and ran over, thought something was going on. But yeah, he was nice enough to tell me what he thought honestly of my performance. I appreciate that. I didn't want him to sugarcoat it.
Yep.
Yeah. So, it is what it is. You know, he's got a big fight lined up. It'd be a fight that I'd like to have.
Oh, hello.
The man himself.
Oh, the mayor of Bacchus Marsh is here. Who would have
It
thunk
kind
it?
of nearly feels set up here, but
Look, we wouldn't have thought I'm going to hand the mic over. And Jackie Jenkins.
Mate, it's real fucking simple. Say it how it is. Don't talk shit on Instagram. Don't talk shit on Facebook. That performance was fucking shit. Yeah? Don't fucking talk about us on Facebook. That's simple.
But I don't talk about you on
You
Facebook.
fucking do. You fucking do. You're a compulsive liar.
No.
You miss weight. You talk shit. You pull out of fights.
I missed weight once.
Fuck off, mate.
Once.
You're fucking pathetic.
Once.
Come back for me jacket later.
Once. Once. Talk to me when you get a win at welterweight, at lightweight.
You fucking jump up to welterweight and you get knocked the fuck out, cunt.
The last time I checked, I won by
Fuck up.
submission.
Mate, fucking trash. That was fucking shit.
okay.
It still makes me feel funny.
Yeah.
It still gives me like sweaty palms.
Yeah.
You know what?
Crazy.
Love the fact it featured in the promo too, and what a dope promo that was.
Oh, no,
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so disappointed in that fighting. Do you know, you boys know I'm a big Bacchus Marsh, the mayor of Bacchus Marsh fan, but that exchange, JVH kind of went up a little bit in the boys' book, I think, as well. And mate, I was hyped up for that fight. I think it would be one of Australia's biggest fight. from an eternal perspective. And fuck, well, I hope we get it, boys. I still remember seeing Statman's face when that was happening, and he was like a 3-year-old child that was like dropped his crayons and felt like he just dobbed someone else in. And was
I felt unwell. I felt genuinely unwell, and I think when Jack left the room, I patted him on the back in like the most passive, childlike way, and all I can remember was like, that dude is so fucking built. I was patting him on the back. I was like, all right, yeah, we would have been able to do nothing if that turned violent. Like, there was literally nothing we could have done at all.
Boys are all business.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah, they wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, I was feeling very confident. There was 5 stripes between the podcast, and it was quite funny because I was thinking he was quite humorous. Sort of a jump back to the WWE promo days. I looked at Snags and he was absolutely drinking it up, and then I looked at Statman and that made me start to worry. Like, maybe we're not as in control as what we thought here, boys.
Mate, my stripes started dropping off my belt at a high rate. So it just falling off.
Snags was looking at it. He was like, "Oh, I could snatch an anaconda here. I'm sure."
No, I wasn't. I was like, "How do I get under the table?"
There wasn't much room in that room.
Yeah,
so
that was tight. But mate,
it was a tiny room.
What a part of the potty. Welcome back, mate. Snags has been looking all over the globe, I guess, to get us some absolute crazy answers for this game. I think last time we played this was with the Marsh Boys, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. And I'll put on my Steve Harvey moustache as we go this bad boy voice for the viewers that are watching on YouTube. Here we are. So, boys, we're going to play a round of Snags Family Feud, RLB Boys edition only. So we've got 3 buzzers this week. I don't need to explain the rules, gentlemen. Please don't make me. DL, we might go for you. Buttons. Did you press the button?
Yep. Oh, buttons. That's my...
Yeah.
Buttons.
Yep. Kratos will go bubbles for you because I know you love playing with bubbles on the weekend.
He's absolutely right. How does he know that? That's weird. But bubbles.
Yeah, that's your pet fucking rabbit, isn't it? That's weird. And then Stoney will go for you, my friend. Anaconda joke. Because that's probably what I'm going to get you in a couple of weeks when we grapple for the Battle of the Beach.
Still going to be at a beat? Still going to be at a beat?
Gold Coast. Yeah, we're going to Goldie.
Okay.
Stoney, you got that? Anaconda.
Anaconda. Done.
Thank you. Don't hold on to that anaconda as you leave, mate. Okay, so surveyed 100 people across the globe about this specific answer towards the boys. I've kept it MMA related to keep it part of the body. Good hobby talking. Boys, buzz in when you're ready. Surveyed 100 people in the top 10 answers of what is the most painful submissions in MMA?
Bubbles.
Oh, we're going to go Bubbles went first. Sorry, Dale.
Doubt it. Must have been a delay.
Bubbles? Kragos, Statman?
I took a drink between the time
Knee bar.
said bubbles.
Knee bar.
Knee bar.
Ding, ding, ding. Knee bar is on the list. We'll go to DL next to see if he can supersede Bubbles.
I'm going to say a heel hook.
Oh, heel hook is on the list too. It's actually above knee bar, one above. Stoney, you got a chance to take this home and choose if you play or pass, my friend.
Yeah, going to go a traditional sharpshooter. Made famous by Bret Hart.
Oh, sorry, boys. My video was not paused. I was not stuttering. I was just absolutely shocked at that terrible answer. It's almost as terrible as my moustache. So, DL, you get to choose whether you pass or play, my friend.
I'm going to play.
You're going to play. Okay,
Yep.
roll the music.
Oh, you want music? Why we do it?
No, you don't need music.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
joking. So, heel hook was number 3, boys. Knee bar was number 4. DL, you've got 8 more to get.
Okay.
You need 2 to win.
Okay. Oh,
Hit me.
we'll start with an obvious one. Armbar.
Armbar is not on the list. I said
That was actually my
painful
serious one.
submissions, not submissions.
Depends
most
if
painful.
Ronda Rousey's doing it to you, I guess.
I didn't say Ronda Rousey's most painful submissions. I just said in general. Okay.
Is
That is
armbar not a submission? Not a form of
It's a
submission?
submission,
No,
but
it's
it's
a
not a...
Most
not in the
painful
top 10.
submissions.
He's just saying
most
it's not
painful.
painful.
Oh, it's pretty painful.
Yeah.
What, have you got armbarred before?
Oh, what I do at home is none of your business.
Sorry, mate. Not on the list. You've got one more chance before it goes to Statman.
Oh, God, that was all I had. Neck crank.
Neck crank is not on the list. Apologies. Statman, you need to get 2 to win.
Kimura.
Kimura is on the list. Ding, ding, ding. It's actually come in at number 1.
Oh, shit.
Oh, really?
You want to, actual survey, boys. This is an
I just
actual
watched
survey.
the replay of Frank Mir breaking Big Nog's arm with that rolling Kimura. It was horrible.
Yeah, it freaks me out what you do on a Friday night. But anyway, next question. Next answer. Same question. Next answer.
This one is very, very painful. Go-Go Plata.
Go-Go Plata is on the list, number 10.
Ooh.
Statman takes it.
All right, boys, let's jump into our fight picks for episode number 50. And it wouldn't be right if we didn't touch on the fight card for this week locally. Eternal 60 in Perth. Statman, let's go.
We wish it was a little bit more local. I know that DL and Snags are sadly unpacking their bags. They're shaking their heads at me now, but that's okay. We head to Perth for the co-main event. It's in the bantamweight division. We've got Eternal MMA flyweight champ Steve Erceg versus Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon may only be 2-0 as a pro, but he merges that with a 4-fight run as an amateur. All 6 fights ending before the final bell. Erceg similar has a dynamic finishing game with 5 of his 6 wins coming by stoppage. But if we move on to the main event, we've got Rod Costa versus Justin Van Heerden in the featherweight division. After taking a hiatus of over 5 years between his second and third fight, Rod Costa has fought, on average, every 47 days since returning in mid-2020.
Damn.
Oh, shit,
Yeah.
That makes me nervous.
Can we run that back? That just passed me by. Say that again, Statman.
He's fought on average every 47 days since he returned mid-2020 after a 5-year gap between his second
What's
and
the
third
record?
fight.
I love that.
He's fought on consecutive months. This will be a fight on consecutive months. He fought
all
on the
wins?
Melbourne card, and then he's 3-2 at the moment. He lost his first 2 fights, had a break for 5 years, and has come back 1-3. Sorry, he'd be 3-3 because he lost on at Melbourne. So he's 3-3 now.
Jesus Christ.
I think it's time for a little bit of...
Always good to have a bit of Tool of the Week, DL, my favourite part of the podcast, because I get to out some absolute mushrooms from Twitter. And this week's no exception. But before we get into it, Statman, without any shadow of a doubt, the most respected MMA opinion on the podcast. Want to get your thoughts, Statman. Going back to UFC 189, bit of a banger of a fight before the main event. Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald too. Now, can you just give me your take on that? What do you remember of that fight?
Mostly the blood-infused stare down at the end of round 4 with Rory McDonald's nose plastered over his face. Probably one of the best title fights, one of the best welterweight fights ever, one of the best fights ever, and probably the worst thing that's ever happened to Rory McDonald. But yeah, just all round one of the best fights of all time.
Now, we got that, did we, Dale? That's recorded. One of the all-round best fights of all time.
Got it.
Now, this is an opinion that pops up every now and then, and every time I see it, I just cringe a little. So this one's probably a long overdue on the podcast, but shout out to an account, Evil Luque. Lawler versus McDonald 2 is the most overrated fight of all time. Now, DL, if you've never seen the fight, I'm going to just run through it, and you tell me what your arousal levels would be like, okay?
Okay.
So let's just start it off. UFC Gold is on the line. So arousal levels, what, a 3 or a 4?
Oh, definitely a 3.5.
Younger challenger is looking to avenge a previous loss to this opponent. So there's history, a bit of bad blood, maybe a 5 or a 6.
Yeah, I'm pushing a 6 now.
Now the challenger gets cracked in the very first round, DL, and breaks his nose.
Oh.
Absolutely shatters it. Many people think he won't be able to continue, but he does, DL. Where are we at, a 7?
I've just pushed to an 8. You better hurry up.
Not only does he continue, DL, but after 4 rounds, he's leading on the judges' scorecards in a title fight. How are we going now?
Boys, get me a towel.
DL, what if I then
aroused.
told you that in the 5th round, the champ comes back from the dead, not dissimilar to The Undertaker on Raw is War in 1998, lands a fatal blow to retain the championship, and still, in an ending that would rival the best of the Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, are you not entertained yet, DL?
Oh, I'm a sweaty mess, and I think to pull myself a little bit of snags here. Arousal levels 500 billion thousand
27,000.
Look, boys, when it comes to scoring the fight, it's a perfect 10 in every sense. Now, I don't care if you don't have it as your best ever, but to disrespect that by calling it overrated tells me that the only thing that is overrated on Twitter is people's right to free speech when they've got opinions this bad. Now, if Donald Trump, DL, gets banned for fake news, evil Luke should get banned for shit opinions. But, DL, it gets better. Another account at the Combat Hub slides in and says, not only is it overrated, but there's at least 5 fights better than it. 5 fights, DL. 5 fights. Let's just analyse this. As of the weekend, Cody Garbrandt, Rob Font, there's been 564 events across 161 cities in 28 countries. At an average of a dozen or so fights per card, DL, we're looking at around 7,000 fights in the history of the UFC. And this bloke, who clearly has mayonnaise for brains, is telling me that because there's 5 fights better, that all of a sudden Robbie Lawler and Rory McDonald is overrated. I'll tell you what, boys. When God was giving out brains, this twit thought he was giving out thick shakes and asked for an extra thick one. And that's why, DL... actually contender for Tool of the Year. They are terrible takes, and I couldn't sit by because that one pops up every now and then, and it's not woke, it's not cool, it's not original to say that fight's overrated. Yeah, really, really grinded me this week, DL, so thanks for letting me get that off my chest.
I like it.
I think DL got something off his chest, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, that made me incredibly uncomfortable to listen to.
I was wondering why Statman turned off his camera for a little bit.
Absolutely. I'll come back. I'm a sweaty mess.
Just before the podcast, when I run through that in my head, it was a lot less erotic than what it actually was.
Oh, yeah. I'm at a 10 now. Keep
You're
going.
gonna have to put a warning at the start.
I think it was DL's. You better get this done quick.
Oh, I like it, boys.
Oh God.
Heading back to UFC 263, we've got a welterweight bout between Damian Maia and Belal Muhammad. Damian Maia is the 3rd oldest active UFC fighter, falling short of Alexei Olenek and Marianne Renault by 5 months, excluding the 4-year gap between his first fight in 2001 and his second fight in 2004. Damian Maia has never taken a break of longer than a year until now. Adding into that, 2020 was only the second time since 2007 that Damian Maia had only competed once in a calendar year, which all tells a story of a slowly aging fighter. Moving on to another welterweight bout, we've got Leon Edwards versus Nate Diaz. This fight will be the first non-title, non-main event to be scheduled for 5 rounds. So this fight was initially due to be a 5-round co-main event, but was moved due to a minor injury to Diaz. It will likely play a part in ensuring that UFC 263 is one of the absolute longest cards in UFC history. Not only is it scheduled for 14 fights, it has 3 potential 25-minute fights to cap it off.
Boys.
Perfect. Heading into the co-main. So, boys, we're picking round and finish for these ones. We've got a flyweight title fight between Davison Figueiredo and Brandon Moreno. Figueiredo Moreno 1 was the 4th draw in UFC title history, and this fight is the 3rd immediate draw rematch in UFC title history. In the previous 2 rematches, the person who entered the bout as champion left with the belt. Their first fight also broke the record for the most significant strikes landed in a flyweight bout. We have the middleweight championship bout between Israel Adesanya and Marvin Vettori. Boys, this stat surprised me. Israel Adesanya is a dynamic striker with finishing power, but perhaps surprisingly has the record for the longest average fight time in middleweight history, clocking an average fight time of 15 minutes and 7 seconds. Vettori has the third longest average fight time in middleweight history with 14 minutes and 53 seconds. So Vettori's early career, he counterbalanced 2 first-round subs in the UFC with 8 decisions, including the last 2, which both went the full 25 minutes. So again, this could be leading into UFC 263 being quite a long one.
That's a wrap on episode 50, lads. If you like what we're doing, please like, share, comment, or subscribe to the podcast. We have just launched our new website, runitbackpodcast.store. You can grab all our merch there. You can also grab one of our local MMA fighter tees. We've got the Jack Jenkins one up there at the moment. Portions of the profit go directly to the fighter, support them on their journey. That's us for episode 50, boys. I'm producer DL.
I am Sugar Snags.
I'm Statman.
And my name is Stoney.
And we'll run it back with you all on the next Run It Back podcast.